Now let's get started by introducing today's guest speakers. Please welcome Jerry Vargo, Executive Vice President of Marketing and Enrollment at GUS Medical and Veterinary Schools. Hello, Jerry. Welcome.
Hello, Jamal, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of our attendees, depending on where you're joining us from. We're excited that you're considering partnering with Global University Systems Medical and Veterinary Schools. We think we have some great programs for your potential students to come our way, and I'm looking forward to sharing information with you this morning.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. It's great to see you with us. Thanks a lot for your time again and again. And we have Dr. Sunaina Babulo, Director Strategic Partnerships and Recruitment at GUS Medical and Veterinary Schools. Hello, Sunaina. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today as well.
Thanks a lot for your time as well. It's great to see you with us. We are excited to start with our questions, of course. Jerry, I would like to start with you. I would like to invite you talk about GUS Medical Veterinary Schools, first of all.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Shamal. We have four, I think, incredible schools that are assisting students from around the world to become doctors and veterinarians. So let me just say a few words about each school, and I'll follow along the slide here. First off, let me speak about Saba University School of Medicine. Saba University was established in 1992. It's accredited by the NVAO, which is the accreditation organization for the Netherlands and Flanders. And it's also recognized by the World Federation for Medical Examinations. So some very important accreditations there. The school itself is located on the beautiful island of Saba. It's located in the Northern Antilles, and we have about 2,500 alumni. The island itself is just a beautiful little island. It's an island that's not known for its beaches or anything like that, but it's known for its architecture, its culture, and its friendliness, and how safe it is. Sunaina and I are actually visiting all the schools in about 3 weeks, so I'm looking forward to it. But I just returned from some trips about 2 months ago. I just had a wonderful time at Saba with all of our students and just, sightseeing around the island, that type of thing. Let's talk a little bit about Medical University of the Americas. MUA, as it's also known as, was established in 1998. It is accredited by the ACCM, which is the Accreditation Commission for the Colleges of Medicine. It's located on the small island of Nevis, which is like the sister island to St. Kitts. MUA is really only about 15 to 18 minutes away from Saba by airplane, so they're very close, these two particular islands and campuses. And we have about 1,700 alumni. Something fun about MUA is, again, it's a wonderful, beautiful place to visit. It does have wonderful beaches and culture. We have several new programs at MUA, which we'll be excited to tell everybody on today's webinar about. And finally, let me go to St. Matthew's University. St. Matthew's is kind of unique because we have both the School of Medicine and School of Veterinary Medicine. So there's two different schools located within St. Matthew's. The med school was established in 1997, and the vet school was established in 2005. The medical school is also accredited by the ACCM. They're located on the beautiful island of Grand Cayman. You might have heard me accentuate beautiful. I mean, it's really a breathtaking island to visit. Again, wonderful culture, great infrastructure, a booming economy, are all parts of Grand Cayman. The medical school at St. Matthew's has over 2,200 alumni, and the vet school is smaller. It has about 400 alumni. So that's a little bit about each school, Shamal. Visit our websites. You'll see great pictures. We have virtual tours, but there's nothing like seeing the islands in person.
Thank you, Jerry, this beautiful introduction. We are hearing that the world needs doctors. Jerry, when it comes to data, how can we measure these needs?
Well, if you go to the next slide, you'll see some really amazing and stats that the world is in a crisis and the world needs more doctors. There's many countries around the world that are facing doctor shortages, and these doctor shortages actually stem all the way up to the education systems in countries around the world because there simply aren't enough seats in medical schools to assist the number of people that want to become physicians or veterinarians around the world. So what we do here at GUS Medical and Veterinary Schools is we provide a quality opportunity and outcomes for students that are looking to become doctors. So I'm really proud of our particular schools. But let's take a look at some of these stats. I guess it will be on the left-hand side of the screen if you're looking at it. In the United States, and we're talking a little bit about the United States, but I have some stats from some other countries as well, Shamal. There's 154 medical schools in the US and there's 17 medical schools in Canada. And take a look at these numbers right here. In the United States, last year, there was approximately 55,000 people that wanted to go to medical school, but there's only 23,000 seats available for students in medical schools. So what is an aspiring physician to do that's left out of the US system? Well, they need to try to find a quality opportunity somewhere else. And our schools in the Caribbean are that opportunity for students to review. Canada, same type of doctor crisis, right? They have about 14,500 students that applied for medical schools last year, and they only had 2,500 medical seats. So it's pretty tight to get in there. United Kingdom, 30,000 people applied for medical schools in the UK last year for only 9,500 seats. And Sunaina, who's actually going to be visiting India next week, can you support my claim here that we have 2 million NEET testers last year for about 200,000 seats? Did I get those numbers right? So you can see there's a lot of would-be physicians that could be fantastic doctors if given the opportunity that just are squeezed out of the medical systems in their country. And therefore, GUS Medical Schools, SEBA, MUA, St. Matthew's Medical could all be wonderful choices for students.
Well, that looks promising. Dear partners, I'm aware of that. There are lots of numbers and each of them are very precious. But please do not forget this session will be recorded and shared with all of you. So if you want to come back and check again this precious information, you will be able to do that. Jerry, I would like to move forward with my next question. Can you give some reasons why our partners should consider working with our GUS Medical and Veterinary Schools?
Absolutely. So I mentioned two key words, and they both start with the letter O. Opportunity and outcome, right? So we provide students with the opportunity to become physicians with outstanding outcomes at the end, where they'll actually not only graduate from our schools, but have a very high likelihood of practicing medicine and becoming physicians or veterinarians in their country. So the first block that I wanted to speak on this particular slide is the USMLE. The USMLE stands for the United States Medical Licensure Examinations. These are a couple of the most important exams that a student going through our programs will take if they want to practice back in the United States. And I'm very excited to report that our statistics or our results on the USMLE Step 1 and Step 2 exams across the board, when I say across the board, that means all three of our medical schools are on par with United States, if not higher. So our students score anywhere between 95% and 100% on the USMLE Step 1 and Step 2. Those are fantastic results, and it really is a testament to the quality of our teaching and our faculty and our curriculum. So something we're super proud of, Samal. Let me talk a little bit about our academics. Our academics is really leading edge. Our campuses are high tech and they're state-of-the-art campuses. And again, you'll get an appreciation for the campuses through our different websites. But again, some virtual tours and then visiting the campus will really provide students with a solid understanding of how we teach, the teaching environment, and the quality of our academics. Clinicals. Clinicals is where the rubber starts to hit the road. Clinicals start to happen in the second half of our students' curriculum, semesters 6 through 10. And it's where students get that hand-on practice and shadowing of physicians throughout the United States and Canada. We have a number of clinical placement opportunities for students throughout the U.S. and Canada. And again, it's where they take what they learned in their basic sciences and they're able to start applying it to patients in a very controlled, monitored environment. Approvals. There are a lot of schools throughout the Caribbean and throughout the world that students have a choice to go to. But what makes our school very special is we have the right accreditations, the right approvals, and the right recognitions throughout the United States and Canada that when a student graduates from our program and they do well in their USMLE, they have a very good chance of finding a residency placement in any one of the 50 United States or in the provinces of Canada. So we really set our students up with success because we have these great accreditations and approvals. And then finally, results. Results is really, you're going to medical school to what? To become a doctor, right? So you want to make sure that at the end of the road, you're actually a practicing physician. And we have some wonderful statistics for our residency placements over the last 3 years. All of our medical schools, SABA, MUA, and St. Matthew's Medical, all have residency placement rates over the last 3 years of anywhere between 96 and 100%. 100%, you're probably like, oh my God, that's amazing. It is amazing. So our St. Matthew's Medical School located in Grand Cayman over the last 2 years has a 100% residency attainment rate. And you just can't get any better than 100%. So we're very proud of that statistic. The U.S. residency match day is coming up in March. It's quickly followed by the Canadian match day about a week later. And we are keeping our fingers crossed that we can keep those numbers as high as we've kept them the last 3 years.
That's incredible. And I'm wondering about what are the key steps our students should follow to become a doctor? What essential qualities or skills are crucial for success in pursuing a medical career, Jerry?
Absolutely. Now, I know Sunayana is going to go through some of the entrance requirements and some of the curriculum and some slides later on. But what I'll give is an overview of becoming a physician through one of the GUS medical schools. If you look at the first two boxes, as you're looking at your screen on the left, you'll see basic sciences and step 1 licensing. These 5 semesters all happen on campus in either Grand Cayman, Nevis, or the island of Saba. And that's where students are given that foundation to learn upon. So it's, again, on our beautiful campuses with our faculty, learning how to become physicians. At the end of your 5 semesters, you'll take your first USMLE exam, the Step 1 licensing exam. And again, our students score very well on that. Once students do well on their USMLE Step 1, they then begin in their clinical rotations. And that is the middle boxes, clinical rotations and Step 2 licensing. So this is semesters 6 through 10. The clinical rotations can happen at various spots throughout the United States and Canada. So we have lots of opportunities for students to go back to Canada if they live in Canada or if they want to get a different flavor. At the end of your clinical rotations, you then take the USMLE Step 2. And then once you graduate, you apply for residency. And these are the final 2 boxes on your right. Attain a residency. And again, our residency attainment rates for the last 3 years for all 3 schools is anywhere between 96 and 100%. And then once you attain a residency, you begin practicing medicine. You can choose a specialty and really specialize in those areas, but it's a wide open field after that. Now, this slide makes it look very easy, Samal. Medical school is not easy, right? Medical school is challenging. If not, all of us would be doctors. But if the students really apply themselves and they focus on their curriculum and their studies, this pathway to success could be there for them.
I see our partners are excited to discover all the programs available on the GUS Gateway portal. And Jerry, can you help us with these? What are the programs we have?
Okay, so I'm excited about our programs because we've just added a bunch of new programs to our portfolio. So let me just go right through the slides so I don't miss any of them. The programs that are available at all 3 of our schools, SABA, SMU, and MUA, is the Doctor of Medicine program. That's the MD. We also offer a Gateway program at all 3 schools, SABA, SMU, and MUA. The Gateway program is for students that might just need one or two courses to satisfy prerequisites, or they might just need to get the rust off their wheels. They've been out of school for a couple of years, and we want to see if they actually have the aptitude to do well in medical school. Gateway program is a program that can actually be taken online, and it's just a one-semester refresher type program for students. For students looking to enroll right out of high school or before they go to an undergraduate program, we do have a wonderful pre-medical we have our 6-year, I skipped ahead of myself there, Samal. We have our 6-year pre-med to med program, and we have a 5-year BSc to MD program, both offered through MUA. So these are brand new programs. Sunaina might speak a little bit about them as she goes through them, but it's a wonderful opportunity for students to go right into our program through a pre-med program into the MD program. One program that's not mentioned on this slide that I mentioned earlier is our Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, which is offered on the campus of St. Matthew's University. So remember, we do have a vet school as well for those students that like animals over humans. And then finally, something we're super excited about, I'm going to hand over the torch to Sunaina on the next slide, is we have a brand new MBBS Pathway to Medical program for both MUA and SMU. So I know Sunaina's got some more information on that, Samal, but I'll turn it back to you so you can transition us.
Thank you so much, Jerry. I will have a few more questions for you, but now I would like to invite Dr. Sunaina to tell us more about the MBBS Pathway programs. Can you explain how this works, Dr. Sunaina?
Yes, so we're very excited about our MBBS to MD pathway that we are offering. So basically, it is an opportunity for all of our MBBS graduates who want a route to go to the USA or Canada and apply for residency, or some people may know it as post-grad training. So this is eligible, of course, for our Bachelor's of Medicine and Bachelor's of Surgery, which are the MBBS degree holders, with an opportunity for them to apply their transfer credits so they will get advanced standing in our program. The curriculum is designed, of course, to prepare our graduates to practice both in the USA or Canada. So like I mentioned, it is an opportunity for our MBBS graduates to find a route to the USA and Canada. And they will undergo a comprehensive medical education with hands-on clinical experiences within the USA. And they also have an opportunity to do elective rotations in Canada with the aim of applying for residency both in Canada and the USA. And in the next slide, I'll give you a transition of how the program works exactly. So like Jerry mentioned, it is offered both by MUA and SMU. So you'll see the two different colors of slides. That's just signifying the campuses. So what it is our MBBS graduates will enter our 5th semester of our basic sciences. Here we will prepare them for the USLME exam. They will do a 4 months review here. Then they will take the USLME exam. Once passing it, they will join us in the USA for 2 years to do the clinical sciences with us. Once they've completed the clinical sciences and take the USLME Step 2 exam and pass, they will then graduate with a refreshed degree from either MUA or SMU, and then apply for residency or postgraduate training. So this is an opportunity, like I said, for our MBBS graduates to have taking the USLME Step 1 and 2, us preparing them, giving them clinical exposure within the USA and Canada, and then giving them a refreshed degree for them to apply for residency within the USA and Canada.
Thank you. This is a unique opportunity for the students. Sunaina, what intakes are currently available?
So we have 3 intakes per year. It is Jan, May, and September. So our next coming intake for us is this upcoming May start. And of course, for the application process, as we all know, for our agents, you'll submit it through your GUS Gateway portal for our applicants. And then basically we review all of their documentation, which I think we have another slide with that. But basically the admission process takes about 2 weeks for our students to get a decision, our applicants to get a decision.
I believe it's now clear to our partners how our intakes work. But if you still have doubts about them, remember to share in the Q&A box. We are here to assist you and answer your questions. Next, we come to the big questions, admission requirements. Sunaina, how does the admission process work, and what are the requirements of students who want to be part of our GUS Medical Schools?
Yes, sure. Okay. So this is the application process, but per the actual application requirements itself, it depends on which program we're looking at. So for example, for our 4-year MD program, we do require that our applicants have an undergraduate degree with some prerequisite courses, such as 2 biology courses with labs, 2 general chemistry courses with labs, 2 organic chemistry courses with labs. Okay. For our 5- and 6-year program, like Jerry mentioned, we need high school graduates. For our 6-year program, it's straight out of high school. For our 5-year program, this is offered to graduates, let's say, from India or Nepal, who have a 10+2, or who have done A levels or O levels or IBD diploma. These are able to apply for our 5-year program. For the MBBS to MD program, it is applicants who have completed an MBBS and have graduated from their MBBS in no less than over 5 years that can apply for the program. And this slide here is basically showing the application process. So once they have the requirements, you as our partner will submit your application for the student through the GUS Gateway portal, or you can send the link to the student to complete the application themselves. Once the application is submitted, someone from our admissions team will review all the documents to make sure that we have them all. The documents that we will need will be your personal statement, the applicant's personal statement, a resume, and their transcripts for initial review to go to the committee. Once we have this, and the committee admissions teams feel we have all that's needed, the applicant will then move to an interview phase. An interview will then be conducted with one of our admissions representatives. Then the file will be sent to our committee, and then within 2 weeks, they will have a decision if they are accepted to the program or not. Once the decision is made, the applicant will be notified. And then if they decide to move forward with us, they will also be offered a scholarship. For our international graduates, we do offer scholarships to them. We've mentioned it in previous presentations, but we do have that. Once the applicant decides they want to move forward with us and become a student, the next option will be submitting a deposit, a seed deposit. The seed deposit can range from $500 to $750 depending on what campus or school they choose. Once the student has submitted this deposit and they're now enrolled into our program, we will start with the visa process, housing, and all accommodation to get them to campus. Okay. And I did mention the admission requirements, but I'll just say it again. For our 4-year MD program at all 3 of the campuses, like I mentioned, we do need a bachelor's degree, and these are the prerequisites listed here. So we do need 2 biology courses or 1 year of biology with labs, 2 general chemistry courses, or 1 year of general chemistry with labs, and 2 organic chemistry courses or 1 year of organic chemistry with labs. If they do not have 2 organic chemistry courses, we do accept 1 organic chemistry courses and 1 biochemistry course. If the program is not taught in English, if they have an undergraduate degree that is not taught in English, we will also require English proficiency exam. Okay.
Great. We have one more slide for you.
Yes. And I did mention the documents that are needed for us to review are the transcripts. We can start with unofficial transcripts, but we will require official transcripts. So these transcripts must be sent directly from the university to our universities. We will need a personal statement. We actually read these personal statements, okay? So we need a personal statement of what has inspired these applicants to want to become a doctor. We will need 2 letters of recommendations. One will be from either professor or lecturer at the university or college that applicant has attended. And another one will be a professional letter of recommendation. And we will also need 2 passport-sized pictures.
Thank you so much for sharing all this essential information with us, Dr. Sunaina.
You're welcome.
Jerry, what kind of support do the GUS Medical Schools provide?
Okay, so thank you, Samal, and thank you, Dr. Sunaina, for going through the entrance requirements. I'll just make one comment on the entrance requirements in that we take a holistic approach to evaluating each student individually. So when I say a holistic approach, that means we're not just looking at your grades. We're looking at the courses taken, and there's prerequisite courses that Sunina mentioned. And we're also looking at your personal statements, your letters of recommendation. And then probably one of the more important aspects that we don't speak too much about is the actual interview. So all students will actually meet with Sunina, and she'll get a good evaluation of the different students that you're presenting or bringing to us. To make sure that they're a good fit for the school. So it is a very holistic approach and a very individually based approach. Every student is evaluated differently based on how well they succeeded in school and their involvement in their activities. Supporting our students is just as important as helping our students get into school. And I like to think that we have the AAA commitment. I know that sounds a little corny, but I think it is a good commitment with using AAA. Let me go through them. AAA stands for accessibility, accreditation, and affordability. So when I say accessibility, we like to think that we've created programs with entrance requirements that are very fair. We take that holistic approach. And we also want to make sure that we have a number of different programs available for students, whether it's the Gateway program, the pre-med to med program, the MBBS to MD program, and of course our MD program. So no matter where a student might be coming to us from and what their educational background is, we should have a program for them. And I think that's really, really important. I mentioned accreditation earlier, and that's the second A in the AAA commitment. Accreditation really gets into all those state, global, and different types of recognitions that we have throughout the U.S. and Canada. So students will graduate from our school and they will become doctors, practicing doctors. And that's the important piece there, Samal, is that they'll be practicing medicine. And finally, affordability. We have a number of different academic scholarships and international grants available to students. Plus, I think we have very fairly priced tuition where students will find that our schools will be one of the more affordable choices for them as they look into the international sector for their education. So those are three things: accreditation, accessibility, and affordability that make up our AAA commitment to supporting our students. And we list a few other things on the slide here. We have a very diverse community. We have students from all around the world. All different ethnicities and religions are welcome to our school. We want to make sure that our students have access to an up-to-date, high-tech medical education. And as I mentioned before, scholarships for students. And we also try to reduce as many financial barriers to becoming a doctor as possible. So the support is there. And again, if the student makes the commitment, we will help them get through the program.
Thanks, Jerry. I've heard that we have new features available for students. Can you tell us more about these features?
Yeah, so one of the new features that we're really excited about, and I think it was posted in either the chat or the Q&A earlier, is we have a brand new SEBA virtual tour. So if you're not able to make it to SEBA, because it's not like you can just hop on a bus and make it there today, you can check out our virtual tour. It shows some sites around the campus. Of course, it shows sites around the island as well. We also have brand new websites, which have just been launched over the last 2 months in November and December for all 4 schools. Every student and every faculty member that you see on that website is either a student or a faculty member that is there right now. So you'll get a good idea where you'll be able to see the type of students, the diversity of our students, and the diversity of our faculty on campus. So those are some new unique features that we're presenting to students: the new SEBA virtual tour and the brand new websites for students to really start learning more about us, and our agents to start learning more about us before they enroll any students with us. And then one new feature, if you go to the next slide, is our new alumni portal. So we're really starting to invest in our alumni. We have almost 7,000 alumni between all of our medical schools and our veterinary school. And we've created this new alumni portal where our alumni can not only interact with each other, but they can interact with new potential students. A lot of new students have questions about the curriculum. And of course, they can always ask Sunaina, they can always ask me about the school. But the person that's going to be the best source of information of what it's like going to SABA or MUA or St. Matthews is one of our alumni. They lived it, they've experienced it, and they've been successful, and they're now practicing doctors. So anytime a student wants to be connected with alumni, they would just mention it to their admissions advisor or Dr. Sunaina, and we could put them in touch with them. So we're excited about our alumni portal and really connecting our alumni with our incoming students. Another new feature, another new benefit, and I think it's something else that makes our schools pretty special.
That's incredible. Jerry, we are almost at the end of today's session, but almost, dear partners. And we can see a lot of prestigious institutions on the screen. Can you summarize the success your graduates have had?
Yes, so our graduates have a lot of great success. So this is our residency attainment. As I mentioned earlier, our schools all have high residency attainment rates where students graduate, they become physicians. And these are just a few that are located throughout the United States and Canada. These have great reputations. Yale School of Medicine, University of Toronto, Johns Hopkins, Dalhousie. And the great thing about not only are students matching and gaining residency at these prestigious locations, it's the specialty, Samal, that they actually get into. We have students that graduate and they attain residencies in anesthesiology, in surgery. We have many that go on and practice medicine just as internal medicine or family medicine or emergency room doctors. So our specialties span all the different areas of medicine, and they also are many prestigious schools that you see and more that are not listed on this particular slide. So again, very well respected programs. If you graduate from SABR University or MUA or St. Matthews, people know you have a quality education, a recognized, accredited, approved curriculum, which will allow you to be a successful doctor at any one of these different places if they take you.
Great. It looks like we managed to look at the intakes and admission process. Thank you, Jerry and Dr. Sunaina, for joining us today and for shedding some light on important information relating to the GUS Medical and Veterinary Schools for our partners. We are growing and expanding our recruitment partners portfolio of offerings, creating new opportunities for more international students to find what they are looking for. Thanks a lot, dear partners. We can move to the next slide. Here we have a QR code, and you can scan the QR code to start your application process and partnership process for GUS Medical and Veterinary Schools. Apply for one contract, access 3 schools. Here we mentioned about 3 schools. And scan to activate your contract and start sending applications. I would like to give a bit of time to scan this QR code. While you are scanning this QR code and starting your application process, of course, if you have already started your process, you don't have to scan this QR code again and again. And I would like to move forward with our questions in the Q&A box.
Samal, before you move on to questions, one thing I wanted to mention, which I think is another wonderful benefit of our schools, is a common application. So when students or when our agents are referring students to our school, there's one application for all 3 schools. So that saves our students time, and also there's no application fee as well. So when a student or an agent fills out an application, they will just select what schools they want to be evaluated for. If they want to be evaluated for all 3 of our medical schools to increase their opportunity for success of being accepted, they can absolutely do that. They'll have preferences 1, 2, 3. If they only want to look at one school, let's say SABA University, they would just list SABA. But it really is a nice benefit to our students that we have a common application. We're the only system in the Caribbean that has a common application like this. And I think it's a real benefit for our students and our agents.
Great input, Jerry. Thanks a lot. And it's good to hear these precious information again. I would like to start with my first question from our partners. We have a question about tuition fees in 3 medical schools for a year. And scholarships, our partners wondering about the scholarship opportunities in these programs. And what are the possibilities of practice doing internship in USA after completing degree? We have 3 questions, and you can pick one to start answering.
I'll take the scholarship one if you don't mind, Sunaina, and the tuition costs. If that's okay with you, Doctor?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we didn't have a slide in this particular deck, Samal. We have had that in previous decks where we've listed out the tuition and our scholarship programs. I'm wondering if our team members who are quietly on the call, like Isabella and Giovanna, can help get that out to all the agents today and look back at the past deck where it lists our tuition and our scholarships. I don't want to do the numbers off the top of my head because I don't want to get anything wrong. I do know that MUA is very competitively priced, as are all the 3 schools, but I think MUA is probably the most affordable of all the 3 medical schools for our international students. All of our international students will qualify, depending on the school, for a very generous international grant, which helps lower the tuition. And then we'll always be able to work with the different schools for different type of payment options to make the school affordable for them. So I encourage our team, Samal, to send out that slide that we've had from past decks to the group that's visiting us this morning.
Sure. Thank you, Jerry. What are the possibilities of practice doing internship in USA after completing the degree?
So Jerry actually mentioned it again. So I know whether they're saying practice or internship. So in the USA and Canada, they refer to it as residency placement. That's when you will go into residency and specialize. Okay, so right now, as it is, our chances are very high. So for example, at SABA, we're at a 97% residency match rate. For MUA, we're at a 96% residency match rate. And for St. Matthew's, we're at 100%. So every one of our graduates have been able to match residency. So the chances of our graduates actually getting to work and specialize in the USA and Canada is very, very high.
Thank you.
And I see here that our team just put up the tuition fees for the different schools, the grants that are available for international students, and then what tuition is left after you subtract out the international student grant. So students will work closely with Sunaina, their admissions team, and our finance office to help make the school as affordable as possible. As I mentioned earlier, we try to remove as many financial hurdles as possible to make the schools accessible and affordable for our students.
Thank you.
So just wanted to add, sorry, that this tuition fee that you're seeing here is for a 4-year program. Okay, so the 5-year, 6-year, the MBBS, MD will have different tuition fees. But if you email me afterwards, I can surely share it with you.
Great. I have one exceptional question for visa process. Do we have any exceptional status for students who are from Pakistan?
Do we have, what's the question again? Say it again.
Do we have any exceptional requirements or process for students who are from Pakistan?
Yeah, so it depends on what campus they will be going to. So let's say most likely, I'm assuming for Pakistan, it'll be high school students, it'll be MUA. They will require certain documents such as their passport, a police background check, 2 passport-size pictures, and they will require to do some tests like a VDRL and also a tuberculosis test. So we guide you through that process. The admissions team will send you documentation of what tests we will need for the visa process. But those are basically the main documents that they will need to submit. And a visa basically takes about 2 to 4 weeks.
Great,
and Samal and Sunaina, I'll just add again, on past presentations, we've had a slide or 2 which talks about the visa process for each school. So maybe we could email that out to the agents, or if the team wants to try to retrieve that and put it up on the screen as quick as possible so our agents can maybe snap a picture of it. But yeah, we have a very smooth, laid out process for visas. And as Dr. Snyder said, it all depends on what school. Every island's a little bit different, and each country is a little bit different as well.
Great. One more question about English proficiency. Sunaina, could you please explain briefly about the English proficiency process and just the general requirements, not specific parts? What kind
Yeah,
of language test is acceptable?
So it depends on where the student is studying from. So I know that we have a lot of international students, but if their program is actually taught in English, let's say their undergraduate or their high school programs are taught in English, and they've been done in English for over 5 years, they will not need an English proficiency exam, okay, to be accepted into our program. However, if their program was not done in English, they will need probably an IELTS or a TOEFL exam, okay? For the TOEFL, I believe we look for a band of about 7. So it depends, like I said, on what exams they will be taking, and what is the situation for the student as well.
Great.
And then Shamal, what's posted up on the screen right now is the documents necessary for a visa. This is for MUA specifically. Again, I encourage our team to email the visa document information out to our agents. But agents, if you'd like to snap a picture of these last couple screens, here's the visa process for SEBA. MUA was up before, and then there's probably one for St. Matthews as well.
Okay, I would like to take one more question about veterinary part. Have you got master courses for veterinary school? Also, once master's course completed, how many years is the stay back, and also the course fees? For the fees part, we'll have already the presentation. I'm just asking the courses part about veterinary schools.
We do not have a master's program for the veterinary school as of now. No, we don't. Sorry about that. Yes.
For now.
Yeah.
For now, we do have the master's in MD, though.
Mhm.
I believe it's a 1-year program, 3 semesters. And the nice part about the MD masters is that I think it can be taken online or on campus, depending on what the student prefers. And I think this is one of the few programs that we actually allow students to do part-time as well.
Yes.
Great. We have one more question about switching visa process. First visa to country of study, then to country of residence. Do we have a double visa process to switch the country?
Yeah. So what will happen is,
question.
yeah. So what will happen is, yes, they will first need to get a visa to go to the island. Okay, depending on one of the 3 campuses that they will go to. Once they take and pass the USMLE Step 1, they will then now get a visa to go to the USA to do their clinical rotations. That visa is typically a B1 visa. Now, as for residency, once the student has graduated for a program and they have matched for a residency, that resident, the hospital or that location that they've matched a residency, they will assist them with that visa to apply to stay for their residency. Okay, and it's typically, I believe, a J1 visa that they will have then.
Amazing. I think we got covered all questions in the Q&A box. Thanks a lot, Dr. Sunaina and Jerry, for joining us today and shedding some light on these inquiries and other questions. If you have something to say before we closing the session, please, the stage is yours.
I'll go ladies first, Dr. Sunaina.
Okay, sorry, I got stuck on mute. Thank you all so much for taking the time and actually coming and learn more about our programs. If you do have questions, please feel free to email me. We can talk more about our MBBS to MD and all our other programs that we have offered, and answer any other questions that you may have. And thank you again. And I do look forward to working with all of our new partners.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for joining. I echo Sunaina's kind words. I just also want to remind everyone that we're currently receiving applications for our next couple of intakes. Our spring intake begins the first week of May, so we still have about 14 weeks. If there is a student that you're working with that is interested in starting this May, I would encourage you to please get in touch with Dr. Sunaina as soon as possible so she can start the application and the process with them. And then our fall semester begins, I believe it's the first